You know, when you get all excited and you're so sure, you might even make a list, pen on paper, of all of your New Year goals for your weight and everything that you're going to do, everything that you have planned, and getting all of your recipes lined up and your schedule and just everything ready to go for January 1st. But then when you falter and then you get off track, and then you're right back to where you were before and all of these years that you've been struggling, and you're just right back in that same old pattern. What can you do about it? Is there a way out? I tell you there is, but let's first take a look at the problem. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. Today is episode number 379. The topic, the problem of perfectionism in your New Year weight loss. Hello. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. My name is JoLynn Braley. I am the permanent weight loss coach who founded the Inner Self Diet. I have been coaching smart, successful women and a few cool men through my proven proprietary step-by-step system to struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. I have been doing this since 2009, and I've never seen it fail unless you don't do the steps. You can't just listen to me talk about how awesome it is to break free of your ongoing struggles to lose weight, break free of your emotional eating, your binge eating, your late night sessions, stuffing yourself, your food obsessions, your obsession with the scale, your low self-esteem that's tied to the scale, all of these problems, self-doubt, negative self-talk, all of these problems that go on and on and on and on and are tied in with this whole ball of wax, which results in you being overweight, and not being able to fit into your jeans the way that you want to. There is a solution. There is a way out, but you have to take action. Before we get to today's topic of this problem of perfectionism in New Year weight loss and how that's going to mess up your weight loss goals, I have a special download for you, and you can get that at theinnerselfdiet.com/NY. That stands for New Year, but just go to theinnerselfdiet.com/NY, and you can download my top 5 New Year weight loss tips. It's a fast and easy read. You could probably read it in 5 minutes, and I give it to you in a checklist form. So if you're already doing these 5 things, then you can just check them off. And if you're not doing these 5 things, then you're going to want to make some changes. And keep in mind that 92.8% of what is going to guarantee your weight loss success is your mindset. It's what's going on right there in between your own 2 ears. How you think about weight loss, how you think about yourself, how you think about food, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your body, whether or not you trust yourself, whether or not you trust your body, what your beliefs are. Do you believe that you deserve to be thin? Do you believe that you deserve the effort? Do you believe that you deserve the time that it takes to live a healthy lifestyle? Do you believe that you are good enough to be at your ideal weight? Do you have any fears? Are you afraid that if you lose the weight, that you'll be too attractive and you'll have too much attention, and therefore you hold yourself back because you don't know how to say no? There's a whole lot of problems that can stop you not only from getting started, but from continuing to move forward towards your ideal weight. These problems will stop you if you don't have the right mindset. And a big problem with all of this is that many of them are hidden. You can't see them with your own two eyes because they are blind spots for you. However, others can see them. And if you work with a professional weight loss mindset coach who can be objective and knows what she's doing, then you can get past these roadblocks, because then your coach can point them out to you and help you get real and notice them so that you can change them. And of course, you have to have the tools to change them. Just talking about these things is not enough. You got to actually have the tools that work to unwind these roadblocks that are in your way so that you can move beyond them and just simply get the weight off without feeling deprived, without it being any big struggle. Okay, so today we are looking at this problem of perfectionism in your New Year weight loss. Actually, to be honest, this is a problem all year round, especially if you are black and white in your way that you approach losing weight. I've had a lot of weight loss coaching clients over the years who have been aware that they have this problem with this black and white thing, and they're either totally on and they're living a healthy lifestyle, or they're totally off and they're in the ditch with McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell and Wendy's and bags of M&Ms and cartons of ice cream, and just, there's no middle ground for them. So you may or may not have that going on also. I could do another podcast about that right there. But this specific issue of the perfectionism can be tied into that black and white mindset, you could call it. And the perfectionism would be a trigger that would send you off into the other direction. So what I'm saying is, you have this whole list and this whole idea and this whole plan for how you're going to reach your weight loss goal in the new year, right? And you've got it all laid out. It's all perfect in your mind. It's perfect on paper. Hopefully you have written it pen on paper, because there is a connection that occurs between your head, hand, and heart when you write pen on paper. And you do not get that connection if you're just talking about it or thinking about it or wondering about it. And you don't get that connection when you type on a keyboard either. You definitely don't get that connection if you're talking notes into your phone. All right, so you've got this whole plan. And then January 1st comes, and of course, you're intending to be totally perfect with it. And maybe you get through the first day, maybe you get through the second day, maybe you even get through a whole week. But most of the people I've known and most of the people that I've coached in the Inner Self Diet, before they work with me, they can't even get through 3 days. So then what happens is, when you have that one misstep, maybe a bite of a food that is not on your plan, or maybe a whole piece of cake, or whatever it is that you do that's not perfectly on your plan, then what happens is, especially if you have the black and white mindset about weight loss, which includes the black and white action about weight loss, then as soon as you have that one misstep, now you're off in the totally other direction, where you tell yourself, oh, I blew it. I wasn't perfect. So let's just eat whatever and I'll start over again on Monday. And then you're off to the races for an entire year of the same thing. So what happened to your New Year weight loss? Where did it go? Well, because you weren't perfect, you abandoned it. And then you tell yourself you'll start again on Monday. So what is the way out of this? What is the way out of this? Is there any way that you can actually get to your weight loss goal this year, even though you're not perfect? Well, one thing to look at, and one thing to ponder and to consider, and to wonder, what if I could be like this too? wouldn't it be neat if you could also do the same thing that I'm about to tell you about? Is that people who are naturally slender, they aren't perfect. They're not perfect. Okay? But one thing that they do that you don't do if you're an emotional eater, a binge eater, if you're trying to force yourself to stick to your New Year weight loss plan and you don't have a weight loss mindset. Okay, one thing that a naturally slender person will do is that they only eat when they're physically hungry and they stop when they're physically full. Now, again, they're not perfect. So let's take the example of Thanksgiving. A lot of people overeat on Thanksgiving. Naturally slender people do too. But what's different between a naturally slender person and you? What they do is they notice that they're too full, they're stuffed, they ate too much. They don't beat themselves up, and they don't tell themselves that, oh my God, I blew it, so let's start over on Monday. All they do is notice that they ate too much. They don't eat again until they're hungry. And then the next time that they're physically hungry, they eat what is appropriate for them, what fits with their healthy lifestyle, what they naturally gravitate towards. They don't beat themselves up. They don't engage in all kinds of negative self-talk and calling themselves names and telling themselves they're a big old loser and that they blew it. And hey, let's just have a big old blowout. Let's have a big food party and just eat whatever and start over Monday. They don't even think like that. Ding, 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 ding. They don't think like that. They don't have a fat mindset. They don't have an FAT mindset. What is an FAT mindset? That's a mindset bounded in fear-attracting thoughts. A naturally slender person is not afraid that they're going to gain 20 pounds or never lose weight because of one misstep. And so they don't go off into a direction because they weren't perfect. They don't go off into a direction that just actually reinforces their, negative habits. Like when you do this thing because you weren't perfect, where you veer off into this place where you're just totally off track and you're living with you just go back to your old ways. That's the easiest way to say it, okay? A naturally slender person doesn't do that, and a naturally slender person is not perfect. So then how do you do this? How can you become like a naturally slender person? Is it even possible? Would you even want to do that? You would want to do that if you want to break free of the hell of this pattern and these behaviors that make you feel like crap and keep you overweight. Wouldn't it be nice if you could be like a naturally slender person? And that means that they don't walk around feeling deprived. They don't think, oh, I'm never going to ever be able to have a cookie. They don't even think like that. They live normal with food. Now, granted, they are at a normal weight, but the reason that they're at a normal weight is because they live a normal, healthy lifestyle anyway. When you're in this FAT mindset filled with fear-attracting thoughts, you're afraid that you're never going to get the weight off. You're afraid that you can't do it. You're afraid that you can't be perfect. You're afraid that this is just going to be another year of the same old thing. You're afraid to get help because you're afraid that you won't follow through. You're afraid that you won't show up for yourself. You're afraid that you're always going to be fat. You're afraid that you're not worth it. This is a big load. What a load, right? And listen, the load can be seen on your buttocks and your thighs and on your stomach. And the physical fat is only a symptom of the mind fat. The physical fat is only a symptom of the mental fat. And what is the mental fat? FAT, fear-attracting thoughts. The mental fat is how you think about your body, how you think about losing weight, how you think about food, how you think about yourself. Okay? Is this making any sense at all? So a naturally slender person doesn't think like you do. And so they're not living in all this turmoil. And they don't have to make a New Year's resolution to lose weight. So I think I asked a minute ago, what about you? Is it possible? Could you become this? Is there a way out of this muckmire? Is there a way to let go of the perfectionism? Is there a way to actually, what do you really want? You want to lose weight and keep it off, right? I hope. I know you want to lose weight, but I hope you want to keep it off. So is there a possibility that you could do this? If you change how you think about all of this, which means that you need to first of all accept and notice that, yeah, I got a mindset problem. If you continue to believe that all you need is a new food diet, you're going to continue to struggle. And how do you know? Well, hey, for the next 7 days, just try to force yourself to do another healthy food diet and see what happens. As long as it's healthy, something sane, not some kind of fad diet. If you have the right mindset, you should be able to do it. The first 3 days will still be difficult to get all of the gunk out of your system if you're going to start eating clean, all right? Because there is a lot of crap in processed food that is there to make it tasty and make it addictive. So you buy more and you eat more and you gain more. That makes a lot of money for the processed food manufacturers. But that's only 3 days that you need to unhook from the processed food. So what I'm suggesting here is if you have a clean eating plan that's healthy, that's sane, go do that for the next 7 days. And as long as you have a weight loss mindset, you should be fine. There shouldn't be any thoughts that hold you back or get in your way. But if you don't have a weight loss mindset, a new eating plan, how can that be enough? Because if it were, why would you be listening to me right now? Right? You know what I mean, Jean? And I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I know that this is a huge problem for you. I don't really know for sure because I'm not talking with you in a two-way communication. This is just a one-way communication here on my free weight loss podcast. And if you really want to break free of these problems, and especially if you want to do it as fast as possible, you need two-way communication, you need coaching, you need support. That's what I do with my permanent weight loss coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. And we just work over the phone. We get it done. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, though, you have to actually get in there. You got to do the steps. You can't just listen to me talk about it. And what's really neat is over all these years, I've never seen it fail. Never failed unless you don't do the steps, you know? And then that's really interesting right there because especially if you have a problem with perfectionism, then you're probably afraid to do anything new to actually fix this problem because then what if you're not perfect? And then maybe it won't work for you, only for you. It doesn't matter that it's worked for all these other people, right? So this mindset stuff, it can really, really mess you up and get in your way. On the other hand, if you get a weight loss mindset, that right there is how you guarantee to yourself that you actually lose the weight and you actually keep it off because your mindset is 92.8% of the whole puzzle, the whole kit and caboodle of all of this. Healthy eating, healthy exercise, that is 7.2% of it. You do need that. Obviously, you got to change how you eat. You got to change what you eat. You've got to be living a healthy lifestyle to release the excess physical fat and get that off. But if you don't have what's between your own two ears sorted out, if you don't have the right mindset for it, then you won't do it. You won't stick with it. You won't stay consistent. How could you ever stay consistent if, for example, you believe that you're not worth it? That's a problem. That needs to be worked out. So does this make sense? Number one, how perfectionism is such a problem in your New Year weight loss because it will derail you if you're trying to be perfect. And does it also make sense that a naturally slender person doesn't think the way you do, and they're not trying to be perfect, and they're not perfect, and they don't veer off into a totally different direction where they're just, binging and emotional eating and eating all kinds of crappy food, which, by the way, I have done all of that, so I understand it. That's why I can talk about all of this like I do. It's not like I am this perfect specimen who has never had any problems in this area. And I think that because I've had problems with it, with all of this, right? The emotional eating, binge eating, overweight, all this, I think it makes me a much better coach because I know where my clients are coming from. So does it make sense that a naturally slender person thinks differently than you? And does it also make sense that you could actually change your own mindset to think like a naturally slender person so that you don't struggle with this part of your life anymore? Does that make any sense? And what is really cool is that you can change your mindset quicker than you can lose the weight. The physical weight loss takes the longest amount of time. If you're dropping 1 to 2 pounds of fat per week, you are doing great. Now, you can get a weight loss mindset much faster, much quicker than you can get off 50 pounds, as an example. My coaching clients are struggle-free with their eating and their weight by our 8th coaching call. If that's something that you'd love to have for yourself, and if you'd love to stop wondering why you're so smart and successful professionally and in your personal life and all other areas of your life, except when it comes to your weight and how you eat, if you'd love to finally fix this problem, head on over to www.discovery-session.com and complete an application for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me. That's where we get on the phone and talk and find out if or how I might be able to help you personally fix these problems and actually get to the struggle-free zone. And what is the struggle-free zone? Does that mean that you don't have to do anything, or does that mean that you can just magically lose weight and just maybe think positive? No, the struggle-free zone means that you are taking consistent action to live a healthy lifestyle and you're not getting in your way anymore. You're not stopping yourself consciously or unconsciously. You're not holding yourself back. You're not sabotaging yourself. You don't feel hateful about eating healthy. You don't resent it. You don't feel restricted. You don't feel like you're missing out. You actually enjoy the whole process. You enjoy what you're doing and you're having fun. Now, that doesn't mean that you are always 100% happy and on top of the world, but when you're not, you have the tools to be able to deal with it without using food to try to feel better. Does that sound like a good plan? Does that sound like a good way to actually lose weight where it's not a big old struggle and you're just able to do it and enjoy it even? And hey, this might sound impossible because of where you are right now. But if you have any kind of inkling that, wow, maybe I could do that too, why don't you apply? Go to www.discovery-session.com, fill out an application right there. And if you need a little bit more hope, search here in my podcast for the phrase real results. You should be able to find a special sub-series that I did that has a few audio interviews in it of graduates of the Inner Self Diet. Listen to them. Listen to what they say about their struggles prior to me coaching them, and listen to what they say about what happened to their struggles with their emotional eating, binge eating, whatever problems they were struggling with. Listen to them, hear what they have to say. See if maybe, possibly, they might give you some hope that it might be possible for you too. And like I said, just search for those 2 words in my podcast, wherever you're listening to this. Search for the words real results, and you should be able to find that special sub-series. Like I said, if you want to actually fix these issues, if you want to actually make sure that you get to your goal weight this year, if you don't want to let another year slide by, if you don't want to regret losing more time without losing weight, head on over to www.discovery-session.com. Get started there now. I am JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet. I wish for you that you have a struggle-free time, not only reaching your weight loss goal, reaching your ideal weight, but being able to maintain it once you reach it so that you can continue to look your best in your jeans while feeling good about yourself. I wish you your best year ever.